Welcome back to the Lamp, where business gets its spotlight. Today, we got Sean Forney in the building. Sean, business isn't just growing, it's taking off. He's figured out how to scale, make money, and keep things simple. Sean, let's jump right into it. And for everyone watching, think of your business like a dark room. You know the potential is there. You just need the right light to see it. That's what we do here. We shine the light so you can see your next move. So, Sean, before anything else, how did you find your lamp? What made things click for you? You run a huge commercial book across 28 states, 92% commercial, 8% personal. That's pretty rare. Most agencies fight for that kind of growth, but you've been growing consistently 30 to 40% a year for 7 straight years. That is a look. What are you doing that most agencies aren't?
Oh boy, that's a good question right off the bat to get started. So I think most of where our success is derived is because let me rewind a little bit. So before starting my own agency, I was in corporate America for publicly traded brokerages, spent almost 10 years in those types of roles. And I kind of, not that I had any bad experiences, some of those experiences were some of the most formed me into who I am today. But I always think about how I was forced to treat my clients a very specific way that probably didn't align with how I believed I wanted to treat my clients. And it was out of my control. It was big, everybody was a number. Everything in the big broker space was about running as lean as you can, maximizing revenue per employee, and then ultimately forgetting your employees that are then overworked, expecting to provide a certain level of service, and also not caring about your clients as much. Everybody had a revenue number associated with them. So whenever I was in a position to open up my own brokerage, the first thing that came to mind was, I wanted to build a good team, good people that knew our ultimate goal was clients first. Not necessarily worried about our profit sharing from insurance carriers or who's going to send us golfing in the next couple of weeks. Or that's a lot of the mentality and mindset that you get in the big publicly traded space. So as we were starting, we were looking at ways that we could truly add value to our clients. I mean, insurance in the most basic sense is bought and sold like a commodity. People are trained by Geico and Progressive that they can call in and we'll save you 15% in 15 minutes or less, right? So that mindset is kind of tainted people, even business to business, like most of what we do, that it's something that's a commodity that we're just trying to do quick, trying to get out of the way without truly thinking about what we're protecting and then what value can we get out of it besides just a piece of paper that is an intangible, that it's a hope and a prayer that if you have a claim, it's going to pay. So what we do for our clients, we just provide them true value-added resources, loss control, risk management, claims management for our big clients. So we take that off their HR department and we manage their claims and return to work programs, drug enforcement programs, mock DOT audits for our trucking companies, OSHA inspections for our construction, industrial users, and then MSHA training for anybody that is in our energy book of business. So what we do, the only time we really consider the revenue for a client is whenever we're looking to determine how much are we going to give back to our clients in the form of a value-added resource. So rather than us being a commodity salesperson, we want to be a partner in their business because their success is our success.
Right. And I was going to lead in that. You're not just pushing policies, you're becoming the partner that they can't live without.
Yep.
And that's why your growth continues, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I still think we have a lot. Any entrepreneur, I think, is constantly working on themselves and their business, right? Doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. I will always preach to everybody I interact with that you should be a lifelong leader, or learner rather, and leader, but learner, and
Yes.
always be curious, always ask questions,
Yes.
always try to grow your breadth of knowledge
Yes.
in your industry, whatever that specifically is, and have that mindset that there's somebody working harder next to you, so you need to work harder than them so they don't take your job.
Absolutely. I learned from from a very young age, and to I am now, to always remain humble.
Yep.
It's no one that you can't learn from.
100%.
Okay, so let's talk about AI. You're already using AI in safety and risk management. How is AI helping your clients right now? What's the real impact you're seeing?
So I think we're learning so much, right, about how powerful of a tool it can be and how adaptive it is against and with different industries, right? So I have a construction company that can work on hold harmless agreements that are pretty well buttoned up because ChatGPT, for example, can comb the internet for compliant hold harmless agreements in whatever state you're doing business in. You can put the contractor, the vendor that's supplying you with whatever it is, and it can build you a pretty bulletproof hold harmless agreement that is based within your state's language, right? Wherever the venue is going to be in legal terms. And here we want to be an early adapter, not a late onboarder that's coming on late. So we've been trying to wrap our arms and incorporate AI anywhere where I see a potential opportunity. I think the insure tech is what they call it for insurance technology. Insure tech is coming a long way where it can pull policy information, it can pull policy numbers, it can do all kinds of different things for you. What we've been utilizing it for in particular is just helping clients round out their safety and risk management programs by adding a hold harmless agreement, a return to work program, drug enforcement program, maybe helping them with a safety manual. And we can kind of utilize AI along with some of our other vendors that we get insurance technology from and kind of customize things that we essentially have to put them out there as recommendations because we can't force our clients to do it. So we say, hey, here's the sample policy that you guys could review with your legal counsel. And we can kind of customize it and tailor it however they need. So I think right now in the insurance industry in particular, we're kind of like at that early onset. I think insurance as a whole is a late adapter because there's a lot of confidentiality that we have to deal with. So I think the bigger insure tech players are working on a way to incorporate that to where the data that can be shared with artificial intelligence, we can be certain that we're protecting our clients' confidentiality while we're utilizing it.
Exactly. So it's not hype, it's real. You're using AI to get better results and deeper relationship. That's what matters.
Yep.
So you're also building an internal AI server to pull data from long policy documents. At the same time, you talked about the slow adoption in insurance, the older workforce, resistance to change, and privacy concerns.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
Sure.
What's the biggest problem in the industry right now that AI is perfect for? And how do you plan to get past the privacy and adoption change challenges?
Yeah, so I think the the biggest obstacle that we have to overcome is the confidentiality of data. And we're not a health insurance broker, but if you are, you're looking at potential HIPAA violations, the dissemination, maybe if there's a hack somewhere that data that you put onto that server could be spread out all over the place. So one of the things that we're looking at doing here is building our own AI server. So we know the data is secured, we have control of it, we're the only end user of that data. So we're kind of in the early stages of exploring what that looks like for us.
Okay, that's a smart plan. You're not waiting for the industry to change. You're building in the future now with your agency, which is brilliant. So you operate in all 50 states, commercial, personal, residential, but commercial is your bread and butter.
Yep.
What's the thing that makes your agency different? What's the edge that lets you win big clients at this scale?
I think I think it comes back to the fact that we are so many years ago, whenever we were a scratch agency, and that's what they call a new insurance agency, is a scratch agency. So we started with $0 in revenue. We we had a sister company that was kind of help us figure out kind of like our path, for lack of a better terms, but which way do we want to go? And we essentially said, hey, we want to copy your all's website, similar build, similar search engine optimization, and whatever tools you guys are using, that's what we want. So what we found was, in the background, our clients, as we were onboarding them, were getting surveys. Kind of like if you go buy a new car, your car salesman says, hey, Lewis, you're going to be getting a survey, and we need you to give us all 10s. You know, you have to give us a 10. Even if something was wrong, give us a 10 and we'll figure it out later. So the benefit, the way we were doing it, we didn't even know it was getting calculated. We had no idea. So flash forward to our 4th year in business, we were ranked the #1 commercial insurance agency in the country as it relates to our net promoter score. And we got this email that said, hey, congratulations. We're like, what in the world is this? We didn't even know what it was. And then come to find out, it was a much bigger deal. So I actually started to embrace the fact that my staff, most importantly, just really takes care of our clients first, like no exceptions whatsoever. So I think we have the mentality on, instead of short-term profitability, you know, we're focused on long-term profitability. If we don't make money in the first 10 years, you know what, that's okay. We're reinvesting our revenue back into our staff, making sure we're compensating our employees the right way, and into our clients by giving up some of our revenue that typically big broker world, they would never think about it, because that it's just, typically you don't put the revenue, you put the revenue first in the bigger world. So
Right.
I think that's kind of what allows us to be adaptive, more nimble. We can customize things a little bit to each insured. And I think that's a big reason why we've been able to grow and be different.
Right. And that's the sauce right there. It's not just product, it's the way you deliver the experience. That's why what you're building stands out. A quick question for you. In your journey, in your agency, is there one story that sticks out that you always remember, like your first win, or something that, you know what, that was my great day. That was it for me. That was my moment.
Yeah, so I got a couple. So
I'm here for it.
So I'll rewind to how I got into the insurance industry. So
Thank you.
I wanted to play baseball. You can see I'm a baseball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was a left-handed pitcher. Not terrible. I was pretty decent. Got to go to a couple pro tryouts. Found out that my rotator cuff was torn, and really didn't even want to go to school anymore. Like, I only wanted to go to school to play baseball. I didn't really want to learn. And then I found out I was 2 years into college. I was working selling cars because I loved the automobile too. And my wife told me, hey, we're having a baby. And I was a kid, pretty much. I was 21, 22 years old at the time.
Same here.
And I was talking to my wife. I was like, why can't, the most common theme in the car business was most of my colleagues were divorced because of the hours that you have to work to make a good living are just not really good for family life. It's not ideal. So as I was standing on the car lot one day, my phone rings and it said Nationwide Insurance. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what this is. So I answer it and they're like, hey, we're looking for younger people that are motivated that may want to own an agency one day. But it was all personal lines based. But at the time, I'm like, well, it can't be worse than selling cars, even though I loved doing it. So I went through the training. I had to pass the test before the agent that I was assigned to was going to hire me. And then I took the job, and part of my job was making 200 phone calls a day from the white pages of the phone book and calling people, hey, can I quote your home and auto? And we had a mirror that sat in front of our desk, and we had to smile and dial. We had to like log into the do not call registry every morning, and we would make calls for 3 hours, take our lunch, then our make calls for 4 more hours at the end of the day. Well, during that process, I sold my first commercial policy. It was like a $3,000 policy. I was like, man, this is way easier than calling out of the phone book, 500 names, 200 names, whatever it was a day. So then I wrote my second one, which was the funny part about this is it was a Mexican restaurant, and in order to try to get their attention, I ate there every day for like 2 months until finally the owner comes out. It's like, man, you must really like our food. And I said, well, I'll tell you why I've been coming here every day. I want to sell you insurance. Now, the money I made on that never paid me back for as many times as I ate there. But it was kind of like the introduction to, okay, well, if you want to do it, you got to put work in, you got to create the relationships,
Yes.
Get involved with your community, polish your skills for more complex things. And that kind of led me to whenever I went to corporate America, I wanted to increase my knowledge. I wanted to go more upmarket, bigger clients, more diverse, more complex insurance risks, and just really kind of polish everything. So that's kind of like how I got into it in a nutshell, kind of by dumb luck. And then what I always tell my wife and kids now, I was like, do something you love, and then it's not work. And I know that's cliche, everybody says that, right? And at first I always told my wife, I said, you do what you love, I'll do what I have to provide for our family. But doing what I had to do wound up turning into something I absolutely adore and love now.
Yeah, and that's definitely magical. And Sean, this has been a powerful conversation. You've shown us what real growth looks like, what smart AI looks like, and what it takes to stand out in the commercial insurance today. Right now, I want to give you the floor for anyone watching who wants to learn more, work with your team, or connect with your agency. What's the best way for people to reach you?
Yeah, so our website, RWRWV, like Victor.com, WestVirginia.com, and then our office phone number 304-500-2812. And the best thing that we always tell people, we just like to have conversations. I mean, that's where everything that we do happens. We do cold call. A lot of our business now is off referrals, but the best thing we can do is just have a conversation to see if something that we do is a better fit for the way they're buying it now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. And for everyone listening, I hope you picked up on some real value today. If your business feels stuck, unclear, or ready for the next level, that's exactly why we created the LAMP. At Lewis Manhattan, we help business owners find their LAMP, their clarity, their system, and the strategy they've been missing. If you want help lighting up your next step, just head over to lewismanhattan.com and book a discovery call. Think of it as your chance to turn the lights on. Sean, thank you again. And to everyone tuning in, we'll see you next time on the LAMP.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.